All right. Good Monday evening, everybody. It's really good to see all of you on this nice Monday evening. It's nice and warm here in Ohio. Oh, I got a little message here. Oh, we're having trouble streaming to Facebook. Oh well. And but all's well here in Ohio. Nice, beautiful weather. It's a beautiful day. Got some work done, and but I'm glad to be here tonight and talk to all of you about carnivore. And tonight our topic is going to be in combination with some sort of fasting, whether that's intermittent fasting, 2 meals a day, or if that's intermittent fasting, 1 meal a day, or any kind of extended fasting. That's going to be our subject tonight when we do get around to it. And we'd love to hear your experiences. What kind of eating pattern do you have? Do you practice fasting at all? Not everybody does. It's not everybody's cup of tea, so to speak. But other people, they really enjoy fasting, and not just 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day, but some people enjoy taking long extended fasts. And if that's you, I'd love to know what's the longest fast you've endured. So that's what we'll be talking about tonight. And we're going to say hi to Jeff. He's joined us on screen, which you too can join us on screen. I have a link shared in the chat, and I'm going to post it again now, so it can get over to, well, I don't know if it's getting over to Facebook. Apparently they're having problems. And X. And if you don't see it there, but yeah, click that link, join us on screen. It's a lot of fun to talk about this face to face. So we'd love to have you here. We have room for 10. And sometimes we get 10. Sometimes it's just Jeff and I all evening. So, but yeah, we'd love to have you. So Jeff, how are things going down in the Lone Star State?
Not good.
Not good.
No, weather's been great, but I'm not getting any work done. So last Tuesday I was mowing a cousin's pasture, and well, earlier in the day I'd unloaded a bunch of steel and 6 bags, cement, 80 pounds apiece, and then I went over to building a storage building out here. But anyways, went over to a cousin's place to go mow his pastures, and when I was getting ready to load my tractor back up, I loaded the ramps on there, and this is a 3-axle, 20-foot gooseneck trailer that I haul my tractor on, and the ramps on that thing are about 100 pounds apiece, and I was getting the last one situated in place, and I don't know what happened, but I tweaked something in my back and I dropped to my knees. And this is the worst my back has been since I first heard it over 30 years ago. When I first blew it out 30 years ago, I couldn't walk for a week without crutches. And so I've had a protruding compressed disc in my back ever since. And I have to watch it, and it gets sored up. But this is the first time I've blown it out again this bad in a long, long time. And I was bedridden for 3 days. And this is the third day I've been able to get up and get around, but just barely. I'm walking like a decrepit old man right now. So it's been rough, and I'm just watching grass grow, and I need to mow, and there's all kinds of things I need to get done, and I can't do them. It's driving me nuts.
Yeah,
I need to get some work done.
Yeah, I understand. It's getting time to mow around here too. I gotta pick up sticks from the storms that we've had over the last few months, burn them, and then get the mower out because things are certainly growing. So, all right. So we have a poll. This is a new feature in StreamYard. So I haven't used it yet. And but if you see that in the corner, do you practice fasting? Option 1 is yes, your OMAD, 1 meal a day. 2 is your 2MAD, 2 meals a day, intermittent fasting. And 3 is no, you eat at least 3 meals a day. And according to this, you have to type either 1, 2, or 3 in the chat to vote in the poll. So I don't even know I don't know if this is going to work. So, somebody typed a 2. I typed a 2 because I'm an intermittent faster. But if you could type something into the chat. Oh, there we go. And There we go. It's working. Yeah, those adjusted in real time there. All right, that's pretty nice. Yeah, so yeah, vote in the poll. I'd like to know what your fasting regimen is like. All right, very nice. That's a neat new feature. So yeah, vote in the poll. Type 1, 2, or 3. Now we're gonna go over and say hi to those of us that are in the chat. First through the gate was Linda Flanagan. Glad to have you here, and Sandy Blythe. And Carrie Jean says hello, and she's a channel member, and so is Linda McDaniel. And so you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to you actually kind of glow on my end, so on here in StreamYard. So I'll be able to see your comments very readily. And here's Geezy the Carnivore. He's on screen with us. We'd love to have you on screen with us too. We got Carnivore, Just Jerry from Wisconsin, watching the weather while working and listening to you. Well, hello, glad to have you here. Tornado Alley, does that mean that you might be in for some excitement today? Is that what that implies? You got a tornado coming? All right, let's see here. All right, and we got Brian Dish. And Terry B33, hello, glad to have you here. And No Slow is in the house, glad to have you here. And let's see here, GFG Homestead 7943, hello from Illinois. Good. Glad to see you there. Hello from Illinois. I'm from Ohio, by the way. Those of you that haven't heard me say that before, and Jeff's here from Texas. And we have Kelly join us on the screen.
Hello, Kelly.
All right.
How's the gentleman doing tonight?
Oh, well, I'm doing okay. And Jeff is in recovery. So, yeah, he got himself a little injury. And I'm
going to tell you something about that. And the bad thing is I can't take any pain meds right now. I'm fixing to have a procedure done Saturday, and I've got to have a clean system. I can't have nothing in my system. So I'm getting stem cell therapy Saturday on my back. And so I can't even take pain meds for this stinking thing.
That's too bad. Let me get the chat off your face here. Can I? That's a little bit better. I could also do this. There we go. All right. So how are you doing, Kelly?
I am doing pretty well. It's right now, the weather is quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow might be a different story. We might have fun here.
You got some thunder boomers rolling in?
Yeah, they said potential nocturnal tornadoes and all that good stuff. 'Tis to be the season.
Mm-hmm.
That time of year.
Yeah.
You got a storm cellar?
I have, my mom lives next door. The house that mom and dad built has a basement. So all I have to do is I have my weather radio set up. When the county next to us goes off, we out of the house and we head over to her house.
Yeah, I got me a storm cellar in my backyard.
Yeah, is that separate from your house?
Mine, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
They make some these days, if you got the right foundation, they make some where they can put them right in your garage, put them down, actually under the garage.
Mm-hmm.
So you just go out of your house. But the bad thing about those is if your house collapses, you're trapped. And then they make some that are stand-up shelters. They're basically a vault that you can get inside of your house, like in a closet. They'll reinforce it and everything. I don't know how good those are. I don't know if they'll stand up to an F5 or not, but I think they're rated up to an F4 or something like that. I've only known of one F5 to rip through us.
I know they're doing a lot in Oklahoma because of the ground. They said that the ground is hard to dig over there, so they do a lot of those upright storm cellars.
Yeah. They're a comfort to have. We had 3 tornadoes in our area last year, and so it was kind of touchy. One of them lifted up and went right over the top of us, and the rest of them went around us, but they were all close by.
I
Yeah, I've got a
remember
basement, half crawl space, and we've got like cellar doors that go outside, like there's stairways and the doors go out in the backyard, but they're sealed off. I've been here since 2010. We've never opened them, and they're sealed off downstairs too. So just with like some styrofoam. So I'm a little, I don't know what's on the other side of that. It's probably gonna look pretty grody.
last time a tornado, we had warnings here and there in the last few years, but the last tornado that touched close to where I live was about 2 miles to the west of my property, and it was an EF2, and it went probably good 100 miles before it lifted, and it killed 2 people in a small town just north of us, or north where I live. And then I think the first time I ever saw a tornado, and it was actually history. I worked at 16 years old, 17 years old. I was working part-time at a grocery store. It was called Food for Less. It was a warehouse type grocery store. And it was in Moberly, Missouri. They never had a tornado, and a tornado went through Moberly in 1995. They thought that was going to take out the new Walmart Supercenter.
Yeah, we get tornadoes here once in a while too, but generally speaking, Ohio's kind of safe. Like that's probably the most excitement we get. It will be a tornado, once every 3 to 5 years or something. So, yeah,
we get them every year. It's some years are worse than others. I can't even count how many tornadoes we have, but and I haven't been real close to them. I mean, they get around us. You just don't never know where they're going to go. Closest I've been that I actually saw a tornado, I was probably 5 miles away, and that's about as close as I ever want to get. I've been through 2 hurricanes when I lived in South Texas, and I've been through the largest recorded earthquake in American history, and that was the Alaska quake back in '64. I lived in Alaska back then, and I've had enough natural disasters. I don't want no more.
All right. So let's head back into the chat, do some catching up here. Holly Springer is in the house. Hello, Holly. Target Prime Rib is just saying hello. Going through some demons, so I'm just saying hello. We all have our demons. Hopefully you don't mean real demons. Then we got a problem. But no, I know it. Hopefully whatever you got going on, you're able to come out on top of that, Tom. Hope you're doing okay. All right. Isabel Goyer from Montreal, Quebec.
Oh, cool.
All right. Yeah, that is cool.
Good luck.
Bacon Runner is in the house, and we got Josephine Beef Woman. Says, howdy, beautiful people. We like that username. Free Thinker here is in the house. And yeah, we're all dealing with something. Glad you are all here. So yeah, very nice, encouraging from Terry. We're all dealing with something. If there's anything we can do to provide some sort of encouragement, don't be too shy to ask or speak up, Tom.
We're here for you, brother.
Yeah. One thing about it, we can be our own worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
True.
All right. My poll disappeared. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Okay. The comments to take it down off the screen. Okay. All right. That's our poll. Do you practice fasting? Type 1 in the comments for you do OMAD, 2 if you do 2 meals a day, or 3 if you just eat a lot, whatever, 3 meals a day or more.
Yeah, a lot of us used to be OMAD. I was OMAD until I hit my maintenance phase. And once I hit my maintenance phase, I'd lost so much fat that I wasn't getting enough energy, from my stored fat, because I'd lost most of it. So I had my appetite increased on its own, to where I had to start eating more to maintain my energy.
Yeah, and you know what? So I had a similar conversation with someone whom I talked to here locally, and that's kind of where this topic came to my mind. So this friends of mine, her and her husband, let's see here, says that they are 7 days into OMAD, strict carnivore, no milk, and And she asks, do you think we should stay OMAD for 30 to 90 days or switch it up with the fasting windows? It's super easy after the first 4 days. I even work out every day with no issues. And then so my response was, you can continue doing OMAD provided you're getting adequate food/nutrition. I know carnivores who have been OMAD for years. And then she asked, and here's a question for all of you listening. Give me your opinion on this. In your opinion, is 4 eggs with butter and a half a pound of steak or ground beef good enough nutrition? I can't eat more than that, LOL. So half a pound of ground beef, 4 eggs, obviously cooked in butter. That's the 1 meal a day. So let me know.
Light.
Yes, let me know if you think that's light, or would that be sufficient for you? Now I'm 175-pound male, 5'8". I can probably pound twice that in a sitting.
Yeah. Well, for me, that would be okay for 1 meal, but I'm going to have a second meal later on in the afternoon.
All right.
For me, if you calculate my ideal weight versus what they say I should eat, I need to be eating upwards of a pound to a pound and a quarter, even a pound and a half of meat a day, to get my proper protein and fat ratios. And that seems to work out well for me. There's a lot of days when I'll put away 2 pounds of meat, but I've kind of cut that back a little bit to where about a pound and a quarter to a pound and a half a day for me.
Yeah, so I eat 2 meals a day, and I could easily do that in 1 meal. I could even do maybe double that in 1 meal. I can do about a pound to 20 ounces of meat, and so I think if I did a pound of meat and the 4 eggs, that would fill me up for 1 meal. Might end up being my only meal of the day. I don't know. So anyway, my response was, that's on the low end, but if you are feeling energetic and well, then you can maintain it for a while. A lot of that energy is coming from the body fat as you lose weight. But over time, you may see the progress slow down, especially if you're not one to exercise regularly. The body adapts and will slow down your metabolism. So I think you can keep it up for as long as you can. I also think you could add another egg, use some extra butter, or slowly increase the beef portion. But right now, I'd listen to your body. If you're feeling great, then keep doing what you're doing. So that was my advice.
And I sometimes question if you're doing OMAD on purpose. For me, it was just a natural thing. I did OMAD because my body didn't want me eating. I ate 1 meal a day, and usually I wouldn't eat until between 11 and 1 o'clock in the afternoon because I only ate when I got hungry. That was my rule. I eat when I get hungry. And that would hold me till the next day. I might start getting a little stomach grumbling, around 10 or so, but I'd hold off to at least 11 to 12. And but it was just a natural progression for me. And then going to MAD was another natural progression. When my body started saying, hey, I need more food, I went to 2MAD. But sometimes I think people try to force things, and it causes them to sometimes stumble, struggle, because now they're fighting hunger. Now if you're not fighting hunger, then it's a natural thing for you. But if you find yourself, okay, well, I'm hungry, but I'm OMAD, I'm not going to eat now, I don't think you should fight it, because those are the people that do that the most end up having to struggle and fight, or end up failing, I believe. Let it be natural. Mm-hmm. Listen to what your body says.
Yeah, and that's what I think is going to happen with her is, a lot of people when they start off, especially if they had a lot of weight to lose, they find, they adapt to keto, carnivore, and they find 1 meal a day to be pretty easy. That you got the carnivore, the protein and the fats are satiating. They eat a big meal, and then they just don't get hungry, and they have all this energy. They can sustain that for a while. Well, it's because, they're wearing around their body a big vat of tallow that's ready there to to tap into. So there's energy readily available, right, or hanging on your own body. And then many of these individuals, as they get down closer to their goal weight, where they have not so much body fat left, but they're more lean mass, then they find that the OMAD might become a little more difficult, or they find themselves hungrier more, and that's because they don't have the energy around them to be tapping into. So that happens. And so that's why my advice was, you're 4 days in, or it got easier. She said it got easier after 4 days. I don't know how many days she is into this, but she says she's plenty of energy, that's what she's eating, and she's working out, she's exercising. Sure, I think keep it up until her body tells her we need some more food. And then when that happens, listen to your body, so. And that might happen. There might be a day, and because it's happened to me, where, I don't eat a lot for a couple of days, and then I have this day that I'm just famished. Can't seem to satisfy my appetite at all, and I eat and I eat and I eat, and I just make sure I'm eating good carnivore foods. Not, you don't want to raid. You want to raid the inappropriate foods, by any means. But if you're eating carnivore, eat until you're full. That's what they say. That's the golden rule. Eat until you're full, unless you have a problem with your satiety signals. So that's the only time that would not apply. So,
yeah, that's when you might have to go ahead and kick in something to help you with your discipline, such as going OMAD or fasting or something.
Yeah.
But if everything's going fine, I believe in just letting nature go. Let nature take its course with you.
Yeah. All right. Hey, we got another guest coming in.
All right.
There's Scott. Hey,
Good evening,
Scott.
Scott.
How you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
All right.
There you go.
Good.
First Monday night off in a while.
Yeah, you've grown some whiskers since the last time you were on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
How you guys
All right.
doing?
Doing good. So you got the day
Good.
off, huh? Very good. Glad to have you here.
Oh, yeah.
How have you been?
Oh yeah, been good. Working a lot. This is we make acetaminophen, the active ingredient in all your Tylenol. So this is our busy season based on the market for next year's flu season.
Oh, okay.
So we're wide open right now.
That's interesting. I wouldn't think that the flu season would regulate acetaminophen production. That's very interesting.
Oh yeah. It's based on the market. We're either lucky or wrong most of the time.
So you like speculators?
Oh yeah, that's right. Either lucky or wrong.
All righty. Very good. So, are you still maintaining your routine? Are you
Yes, sir.
Are you one meal a day, 2 meals a day? What are you doing these days?
It depends. I was listening to Jeezy Jeff just a minute ago. It just sort of dictates itself now. In the beginning, I went, hey, I'm going to purposely try to do some stuff and just like eat when I'm hungry, and it would stretch out to a day and a half sometimes. I went forever, and like I was posting on the board, really impressed when people say they can eat 2 pounds of this or 2 pounds of that, because I went for the longest time. I ate a 14-ounce or 16-ounce ribeye. It was all I could do to eat that ribeye, and then I didn't even want to look at food for 24 to 30 hours. I mean, I had zero interest in it. And then when I felt like I lost too much weight too fast. I mean, I lost right at 100 pounds in 10 months, and looked kind of sickly like. So I started the resistance training and lifting and, this, that, and the other. And I started drinking some protein shakes. And then I kind of cut some corners one time and bought a couple of the ones you get out of the store, like in Food Line, grocery store, made by Shamrock. And the one with 50 grams of protein in it has like think it totaled like 33 grams of sugar, quite a bit of sugar for 3 servings. And but I drank it, and then I found that just a little bit of sugar has triggered my hunger, and so now I can eat, steak and a half, 2 steaks at a time, but mostly it's 1 meal a day. But there's some days where I eat twice a day, but it's just pretty much if I'm hungry. I don't really like say I'm going to eat 1 time a day. It's just pretty much when I eat. When I'm hungry, I eat. And I've gained 21 pounds since December. But I've been lifting a lot. And so some muscle, some water. The creatine's probably retaining some water. And then my belt says that it's some fat there too. So, but it is what it is.
Well, that creatine will put some water on you. I'm hitting the creatine myself since I started lifting again and trying to build some muscle back up. And I've noticed that my midsection has grown a little bit. Between the core exercises and the creatine, it's grown a little bit. But that's water being stored in the muscle tissues.
Yes,
not really. I've gained 7 pounds in the last 2 months since I've been lifting. But I ain't gonna lift for a while.
Stretch. Yeah, I went through the stretch too, and I was purposely eating some of the shakes and stuff to get my protein target up to around 200 grams, which was incredibly hard. And if I just did it with food, I can't get 200 grams of protein in a day. I just can't eat that much. And so this past week will be my last weeks with the protein shakes, and I'm just going to let it ride for a while. And what protein I get is when I'm hungry, and then we'll see how that pans out. I think my chances of being Mr. Olympia are slim to none, so I don't think I'm going to gain that much muscle.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll never look cut, just simply because of the loose skin I get. Even if I got down to 10% body fat, I'd still have all the loose skin on me from when I was fat. So. Yeah, I just want to be healthy is all, and I want to be strong as I can for as long as I can. Now, you do a lot of fasting, though, don't you?
Yes, sir. I fast at least once a month. Matter of fact, this week I eat tonight, and then I'll eat again on Friday. I'll do 72 hours once a month. And so, big fan. I feel incredible while I'm fasting.
I get it.
It's almost like a drag to go back and eat.
All right. Very good. All right. Well, glad you jumped up on the screen. We're going to go back and catch up on some comments here. And I'm starring them now. So they're too far ahead of me to be reading every single one. So I'm starring the ones that I find interesting or triggered a thought in my head. But before we do that, remember our poll. Please vote in our poll. Here's how you vote. If you practice 1 meal a day, type 1, hit enter. That's your only comment. That'll register a vote for option 1. If you're 2 meals a day, type 2, press enter. That'll register a vote for 2 meals a day. And if you eat 3 or more, type 3 and hit enter. That'll register a vote for 3 or more. So go ahead and vote on our poll. This is a new feature for StreamYard. So I'm testing it out for the first time. This just came out, and I think it's kind of neat. And it's useful on a topic like tonight. All right, DS111B8B. If I had my own channel, I would call it the cow, the pig, and the chicken channel. I don't have endurance, and I would only be good for 1 episode. So that's the meats. That's the rainbow of meats right there, minus the fish. So very good. And yeah, I think if you've got a story to tell and you enjoy being in this community, I think starting a YouTube channel is a great idea. And so I would recommend it. So I even give you pointers. And if you want some practice, click the link that's pinned on the chat and join us on screen. And that way you can work on your nerves a bit. So we'd love to have you on screen with the 4 of us here. Tom says, I don't want to talk about it and ruin Bob's show. Just know I'm having a hard time tonight. Well, yeah, you are cordially invited to talk about it. If you wanted to wait till a little bit later, that's fine. But, that's okay. Brisket Boomers is in the house. Hello. And Jerry says she does an annual 40-day fast and has been doing this for 15 years. That's true. 40-day fast every December, I believe.
I find that so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me too.
no, 40 days is, that's tough. And, definitely takes some willpower and some motivation. And obviously, your faith is what motivates you. And so I think that's pretty incredible too.
I've done a 4-day fast and ended up having to quit it because I was just getting too weak. I can't
my
imagine
longest
going
is 7.
40 days.
I did 7 days, and I felt good at 7. And it was just I still stink at breaking the fast. I've tried broth, I've tried little food. I mean, everything I've tried, I'm incredibly loose and violent. When I break the fast, I just can't get my stomach right. So at 7 days, I broke it just because we were going away for the weekend, and I didn't want the weekend to be ruined, with me in the bathroom. So I broke it at 7, but I felt good at 7. I didn't have any issues. But that's the longest I've been. But 40 days, that's impressive.
That is impressive. Now, do any of you know what the longest fast on record is?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like 342, somewhere in there.
A little higher.
A little higher.
It is 3 something.
Yeah.
And I believe it's
382
382. Yeah.
Okay, I was off. I was thinking 365 because I knew a guy that had fasted for a year.
Yeah. And I think so. The guy that did it, I think he went 382 days. You can look him up on the internet. And he was just morbidly obese. And he asked his doctor, like, hey, if he stopped eating, would he lose weight? Would it be all right? The doctor's like, yeah. And so they kind of supervised it. I think they made sure that he had, liquids, and I think they gave him vitamins, and that's all he had. But he went 382 days without food, dropped down from whatever the hundreds of pounds he was down to like a modest 220 or 180 or something like that. So that's the longest fast on record. All right. And that's why it worked. I think those that, you mentioned getting too weak, you have to have the body fat, to on your body to serve as energy. If you're super skinny, I think fasting for a long period of time would be more damaging than anything.
Yeah, but Jerry doesn't have any body fat, and she can do 40 days. It's amazing.
It is amazing. All right. Holly says, I truly feel for you with the back issues. I've had 2 back surgeries and have to maintain a strict exercise program to stay pain-free. Hope you feel better soon.
Well, I appreciate that. And I've had 1 back surgery, a laminectomy and a discectomy. But I'm hoping these stem cells will fix that up and I won't have no more.
All right. Tom says, I've been attacked by a few people in the community, people I thought were friends, and it's just not easy. I'm sorry to hear that. So, unfortunately, some people might in time reveal their true colors. Sometimes, though, is it just a misunderstanding? So I don't know the situation, and but it's always upsetting when someone that we felt close to disappoints us. So I understand how you feel there. But just know that you're a valued member of the community, Tom. So
I'm scheduled to be on his show. What is it? The 2nd, I believe.
Is that the 2nd of May?
Yeah, May 2nd.
All right.
At 4.
In that case, let's share a link to Target Prime Ribs channel. So,
of course, I told him now Saturdays can kind of be, up in the air for me. They can be iffy, but I'll definitely make a point to make it happen.
I just shared the link to Target Prime Ribs channel. Go over there, show him some love, subscribe to his channel, and click the notification bell so you can be notified when May 2nd runs around. You can listen to Jeff's interview. So Jeff does some great interviews, very inspiring. So you won't want to miss it.
Yeah,
Jason says, go ahead.
I just want to know who it was that attacked him. I'll get the Carnivore Mafia together. We'll go pay him a visit.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I there is a video out there, and someone was calling out him and Barbara Grandma Crochet. I saw the video and I'm like, whoa, but I don't know what the title of the story. I don't know what was going on. All I know is she called him out.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get you some more details from that.
I hate keyboard warriors.
Yeah, in the private chat. Yeah, they maybe put it in the private chat, not the public chat. You know, if you haven't, if you know the video or know the details of it.
If you don't call somebody out, or, you want to get hateful for them, you do it in private. You don't do it in public. And you certainly don't say anything to them that you wouldn't be willing to say to them in their face, nose to nose. You do that kind of stuff, you're just a coward.
Yeah, so we always talk about don't be a carnivore cop, but in this case, someone messing with one of our brothers, let's go beat them up.
Yeah, if you definitely have an issue, like for me, I don't care if you want to call me out, it is, but don't do it over the internet or public or anything like that. I have my email address and my YouTube channel. I have a Facebook. You can private message me to call me out. I'm not afraid to be called out, but you do it publicly, I have a problem with it.
All issues should be settled between the parties privately.
Exactly. There's no need to get ugly online, publicly.
Yeah. If you are a religious person or someone who claims to be a follower of Jesus, which most of the people in the carnivore community I talk to say that they do, he said that when you have a disagreement with somebody, you're supposed to take up the issue with them one-on-one.
Yep.
Privately. And then if you can't resolve it, then maybe take one or two witnesses with you to talk about it. So you don't want to blast someone publicly. That's just not cool. You should always be striving to keep the peace, reestablish peace. So.
And don't get me wrong, when I'm talking about something like getting the mafia together and going after, it's simply a joke. I'm not serious.
Yeah. No, I know.
As a Christian, I don't actually act like that. And as a Christian, it's hard to hurt my feelings, because I use the example of Jesus when he was before the Sanhedrin, and they accused him with all kinds of lies, and he just took it. He didn't defend himself. And because his worth wasn't in what they thought of him. His worth was in Christ. And that gives me strength to be able to stand up and take an onslaught. It doesn't bother me, because my worth is in Christ, because all that matters is what his opinion is of me, not anybody else's.
Very good. All right. If you haven't had a chance to yet, please click the like button. We got 49 in here right now, and that's without any Facebook people, because Facebook's having a problem. And so that's pretty cool. But if you click that like button, that'll help tell YouTube that this is something worth watching, and they'll push it out to more home pages as people come to visit YouTube, pop up. They might come in and say hello. So I would appreciate that. And I thank you in advance for it. Jason says, I agree with Butter Bob. Lots of carnivores probably aren't eating enough protein on one meal a day. And that was one of my comments to the girl I was talking about too, was, I mentioned the 4 eggs, the butter, and the ground beef. If you didn't render the fat, that was about 1,100 calories. And the protein was about 60 to 65 grams of protein. Fat was around 82 to 90. And that's what, that's still kind of low, especially if you have that mantra that you want to eat, 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per ideal body weight, or for lean mass, so, so I'm 175, probably my ideal body weight's more like 160. So I want to get 160 grams of protein a day ish, on average, not like necessarily like every day. So that's why that sounds kind of low. And then most people fare better at about 1,500 calories. 1,000 seems kind of low. I just don't think that it would be sustainable long term. But if she can sustain it for a while, I don't see the harm in it. And again, her body will let her know, when it's time to eat more. But yeah, the protein comment is pretty good. So yeah, 1 meal a day.
Yeah, I tried that 1 meal a day, and naturally I had to go back to 2 meal a day. When I started feeling hungry in the evening, I tried to get it like in the middle of the day, but still my body was saying I'm hungry, so I ate. So 2 meal a day is good for me. I may occasionally eat 3 meals a day, but what I do is I try to do the 1 gram of protein to every 1 pound of ideal body weight. That's what I try to follow much as I can. I may go a little bit under and I may go a little bit over, but I usually try to do about between 190 to 210 grams of protein a day.
Yeah, and I don't pay attention. I don't count my macros, but I did in the past, so I kind of have a good idea of what works for me. So 2 meals a day, and I think I'm clocking in easily 2,000 calories, and I'm meeting my protein requirements. So, but I haven't tracked in a while. Once you get into the habits of kind of doing the same thing over and over again, I think you don't really need to track. I think tracking serves a purpose at a time, but it's not something you need to continuously do, unless you find yourself like stalling for a long period of time, maybe even reversing course and gaining weight. Then you might need to track and find out, okay, where is something slipping in? Like, do you have a situation where you're just overeating, or you have a situation where you got carb creep? If you're keto, that could be an issue. So
yeah, I'm trying to, if you go by grams of protein a day, my ideal is hitting around 160 grams a day, which is more than 1.5 pounds.
All righty. Latro Genie Weil. Still OMAD here. My CGM is a flat line as I can make it. As flat of a line as I can make it. Meat or coffee or cream doesn't boost glucose. All right. Very nice. Linda McDaniel says I'm too mad unless my body tells me more. Yeah, that's kind of me too. So yeah, that's a perfect way to word it. All right. And then, okay, yeah, Jason, you get into the macros also. Yeah, 4 eggs, half pound ground beef, approximately 1,000 calories, 75 fat, 65 protein. Very
He's
light.
not getting into it. He's explaining what that is, which you stated that other guy was doing. He was talking about it's too light.
Yeah, 1,000 calories, and you're pushing starvation diet, folks. So yeah. So that's true, but then you got someone who could eat nothing for 40 days. So that's what I said. So, like, if it's sustainable right now, that's okay. But it's the time's gonna. I think the time will come when it's not sustainable. So, all right. Here's a question.
The thing with eating that few of that little bit of food, your body could possibly go into a starvation mode where it refuses to lose weight. I mean, if you stall out real bad, could be that your body is storing back, keep holding back fat, thinking that you're going into a starvation mode. Yeah,
that is a risk. The metabolism will slow down.
Yeah.
And adjust, hey, this is all that's coming in. So now we got to really drop things down and regulate. And then you got to try and trick your body to get back out of that. We've talked about that before. Yeah. Sue Galetley says she has a question. Suggestions for a real good quality olive oil. Drizzle on my egg avocado bowl all the time. I'm trying to remember. So like, I do like olive oil. I use it from time to time, usually to like grease my cast iron. When you're done, you got to wash it and you're supposed to coat the oil so it doesn't rust. That's oftentimes where I use avocado oil or olive oil. I have heard you want to make sure that it tells you where it's sourced from, and you want it to be sourced from one location only. You don't want it to be sourced from multiple locations and then and because then you have the potential for it to be compromised with some seed oils, cut with seed oils.
You got to do your research on it for sure.
So I've heard, so I don't, is there olive oil out there that's cut with seed oil?
Yes,
For sure.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
the cheaper.
I don't know for sure. It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, there's been
There-
lawsuits about it.
Like when I was keto and when I went to go do olive oil or extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil, I want to make sure it was in a dark glass bottle. And if it's extra virgin olive oil, make sure it either comes from Italy, Spain, or Israel. That's where your more quality olive oils are come from. But if it does get costly, like I paid around $12 for a bottle of it one time, and I mean it was pretty good, but I mean my opinion anymore, I just stick with lard, tallow, and butter.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And I've also heard, and this one I don't know, I haven't done enough studying or research, but I've also heard you got to watch out for avocado oil too, that it can be cut with seed oils.
Now,
But I know for a fact, I read articles on it of companies that were sued for cutting their Evo with seed oils. Now, I'll tell you what, though, and I wasn't carnivore back then, but when I worked in Athens, Greece, I'd go to the supermarket, and the back of the supermarket, there would be these copper urns, tall copper urns. I'm talking floor to ceiling practically. And they would all have different types of olive oil in them, from just regular oil to Evo, and from different areas. And so that was kind of a thing over there where you would take your own bottle, your own jug. And some people would get their own olive oil blends. They had their little secret recipes that they liked, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, or just this specific one. And I've never had olive oil like what I had there, because there it was fresh. It was so cool. So it was delicious, really good stuff. And whereas people here have fruit trees, and they'll get some apples, some oranges, or my part of the country, peaches, we have pecan trees and everything. There, if you own land, you've got olive trees. And you harvest your own olives, you make your own olive. You may take it to a processor, but you're going to have your own olives processed. It's kind of a neat thing over there to see how everybody goes about it, but everybody has olive. And I got to see the world's largest olive grove, and we were going to the Temple of Delphi, and you travel up this road, up this mountain, and down in the valley is this huge, as far as the eye can see, olive trees, largest olive grove tree in the world. Pretty neat. But I tell you what, you don't pick an olive and eat it off the tree. Don't ever try that. Take my word for it. That's nasty.
Now, we mentioned olive oil cut with seed oils, and a couple companies got sued over it. I would imagine that was for not disclosing it, right?
Probably.
Yeah, because
I would assume.
I would assume here in the United
promoting
States,
it as Evo,
right?
and if it's cut with anything, it ain't Evo.
Right. So I would think that legally, if it's olive oil, the ingredients will say olive oil, and if it's cut with seed oils, it should say olive oil, sunflower oil. Yeah, I would think that you should see that on the ingredients list, because that's why they would get sued, right? And
you got to kind of be careful also. Dr. Kiltz, welcome.
Hi, Dr. Kiltz.
Hey guys,
You got to be careful also, just with lard and tallow that you buy in the store. Don't just accept it as being pure. Now, my tallow is pure because I make my own. But I was just reading the other day. So my son-in-law at Thanksgiving fried up a turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And We like fried turkey down here in Texas. And he used all, what's that? Bacon up. It's all bacon fat. You can buy it in the store in big gallon containers. He used bacon fat. The turkey was delicious, by the way. But just out of curiosity, I looked at the ingredient list. And because it's bacon fat, it had sugar in it. Because they use all kinds of scrap bacon, and some of that bacon is going to be cured in sugar. And so, you know, it's going to vary. Does it have much? Probably not. Was it something that's going to affect you being in hot lard, being fried? Probably not. Not enough to bother you, I wouldn't think. But even then, you've got to look and see what it is. And some of your tallow that you buy in the store may have ingredients in it to keep it from foaming. So you got to look and see how clean your food is, you know, what you're buying. Do your research. You know, it's just like we love pork rinds. You got to watch your pork rinds, make sure they're fried in lard, fried in their own fat. I know Max down here in my part of the country, Max pork rinds, they're fried in their own fat. But something like, I can't think of the brand, Bacon O's or something like that, made by Lay's, they're not. They're fried in seed oils. So you got to do your research, guys.
Yeah, down at Meijer, there's 3 brands that they sell, and one of them says quite explicitly on the back, pork rinds, comma, sunflower oil. You know, but the other 2 won't say that. So
yeah,
I get them because they're not admitting it on the package, at least. You know, so yeah, pork rinds should be fried in their own lard. There was a comment here. Olive oil labeling is strict and regulated, not so for avocado oil, according to Latro Genie Weil here. So,
yeah, and
that's what I was thinking is it would be, I would hope that you can trust the ingredients label, you know, like the only time, you know, you can't trust it. It says like, you know, natural flavors. That's always like kind of like a mystery. What is that? You know, but with olive oil, usually just says olive oil. So
yeah, I just remember the lawsuits they had over that. Maybe that's why the labeling is stricter. Maybe it's stricter now than it was, or regulated better than it was.
All right, Dr. Kiltz, how you doing tonight?
I am great, Bob. I'm glad I made it. I had a long phone call that was just taking me a while. I was like, and then I just opened my computer, and then you guys are there, so it was time. Nice to see you, everyone. We're talking about fasting and olive oil. Is that it?
Among other things, yes. So yeah, our topic is going to be fasting. We'll get to the benefits of it here in a little bit. We're usually slow about getting to our topic because we like to chat so much. But we have a poll. StreamYard has this poll that we're testing out. And so we've got 60 in the chat now. My record's 64, by the way. So hit that like button. Share this somewhere as long as you're not spammy. That would be great. But if you eat 1 meal a day, press the number 1, hit enter. That's the only thing you chat. 1, enter. If you eat 2 meals a day, press 2, enter. And if you eat 3 or more, hit 3, enter. And that poll will adjust in real time. And right now, it seems like the majority of us eat 2 meals a day. So, all right. What I don't see as interesting is I'd like to know what the total votes were. That's what would be cool. And I can see them on my side. So far we have 6 votes for 1 meal a day, 22 votes for 2 meals a day, and 1 vote for 3 meals a day. So that's what it says on this side. So, yep, the new poll feature is kind of neat.
I like that.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. I mean, I'd say most people in this keto carnivore are doing 2 meals a day. It's, you know, it's the breakfast gets us started and pushing it out. I'd be curious how long they wait for that second meal, or, you know, is that?
Yeah. Let us know that in the comments too. You know,
I will generally eat
16-8.
I will generally eat around 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I'll eat again around 5. That's my window.
I'm about the same. I eat from 9 to 10, and then I eat again when I get home from work. I eat on my way to work, and I eat when I come home from work. Sometimes later.
That's about what I do. Is I'll fix in the morning while I'm watching Kiltz live. I'll be fixing my dinner or my first meal of the day, usually 6 eggs. Like this morning, 6 eggs and a pork steak. That's what I had for my first meal. Usually 12:30 to 2 about the time I eat. And then when I get home from work, I like to be done by 7, the latest.
All right, very nice. We got a comment here for Dr. Kiltz. We're going to try and interpret. Dr. Kiltz, thank you for, I'm assuming, what you carnivore doctors do. You saved my life. I used to be 325 pounds. Now I'm 180. I don't know what 816 means. Was 18, now it's 5. I'm fast. It must be an insulin. Maybe a
A1C?
A1C, 816 A1C. Yeah, 816 A1C. That's yeah. He's probably doing voice to type. Yeah. Okay. Said I'll be on insulin and metformin for the rest of my life. Is what the doctor said, but obviously that's not the case. Now that his A1C is down to 5. So
Amazing. Wow.
Yep.
Charlie, great job. Amazing. And I learned from people on the internet about carnivore long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like some dude was like only ate meat, didn't exercise, and he looked pretty good. And I said, that's for me. I tried paleo keto and it was better, but carnivore saved me.
Yeah, carnivore is where it's at. So anytime I deviate, I'll be a couple pounds heavier the next day, just like magic. So, but as long as I'm carnivore, I maintain the same weight. Very good. All right.
And I would say the universe doesn't want us skinny. Skinny is deadly in our ancient environment.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I've never in my life been called skinny until this last year. I got called skinny 3 times in one day. And this was from my biker brothers. It's a wonder a fight didn't start out, you know. But I mean, and then last night my wife called me skinny. And we were watching a movie, had Kevin Bacon in it, and he was in the shower, and she says, "That's what you look like." And Kevin Bacon is a small man. And she said, "That's what you look like." I said, "No, I don't." I said, that man's got no flesh on his bones. She said, "Neither do you." I see myself different, I guess, even though we're looking in the same mirror.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Uncle Charlie continues that he was in the hospital for 14 days with fatty liver. Fatty kitty, fatty, hot pink Lisa. Don't know what that is. Didn't know. Everything is fine. Thank you again. God bless you. So yeah, 14 days, fatty liver, among some other things. But he's doing well now, thanks to carnivore and everyone who champions and pioneers this lifestyle on the internet, like Dr. Kiltz here. All right.
Doing this together.
Very good. Okay, let me start that one. That's where I know where to stop. All righty. Let's see here. Where were we? Sandy Blythe is sometimes OMAD, sometimes too mad. If I'm hungry, I eat. And that's a good rule of thumb.
Listen to your body.
Yep.
Sometimes I'm mad.
Yeah. So, or my title, sometimes OMAD, sometimes too mad, sometimes just mad.
Yeah.
So Bacon Runners, 2 meals a day, 5 times a week, and 1 meal a day, twice a week. So they've got this down to a regiment here.
And I typically do with 3 days of fasting a month and 5 days quarterly. This is actually my 5-day week, but Mitch is coming to my house on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and not because I'd forgotten this. I said, I'll do 4. I'll be all right. I won't die. I won't lose my shirt over. It's okay.
It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, some people
right.
overthink this.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not necessary. I just kind of have fun with it a little bit. It's a challenge. It's something hard to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Challenge yourself.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Absolutely. Uncle Charlie says that I've been OMAD for 5 years. It's the only thing that saved my life. So, And for dinner, had a pound of bacon and 10 eggs. That's a hearty meal right there.
Yeah, it is.
I can tell you one thing that is so addicting to me now as a carnivore is dehydrated, thick cut bacon. That stuff is like candy.
I'm going to have to try that. I haven't tried that yet.
What's it soaked in or
Nothing. I just take regular, like the Wright's brand.
pork belly?
Yeah, it's pretty much pork belly. And what I do is I just get the Wright's brand. I get it at Walmart. I get the 3-pound pack, 2 of them every 2 weeks. And I take 3 pounds of it, put it into my dehydrator, 165 for 8 hours. And very little of the fat is melted off of it. Put a paper towel to collect what melts off, and you have majority of it.
Well, so the fat does the fat melt a little bit or just dehydrates, right?
Yeah, just the outside. The biggest part of the fat is still there.
When I take like a piece of a steak, it's interesting. The lean meat shrinks so much. It's like the fat puffs up and you can see so much more of the fat when you dry age it. And I do it for like a month. It's really good.
I haven't dipped my toes into dry aging yet, but it definitely intrigues me.
Oh, dry aging is good. And I'm going to tell you what, if you dry age for a long time, you'll get a pedicle on the meat. And most people cut that off, and that's fine. Cut it off if you want to get to the fresher meat. Don't throw the pedicle away. Fry it in your skillet with some tallow. And I'm going to tell you what, it's a great snack. It is delicious.
I haven't done dry aging, but I have done a 4 to 5 day dry brine, and that was pretty good. I thought about doing another 4 or 5 day dry brine on a ribeye and just eating it without cooking it and giving it a taste.
Yeah, we had our meetup down in Sarasota, and I bought a Costco rib roast, and we sliced it up into thinner steaks, some of them, and left them on my dry ager. And like 2 months later, it was just so good. We didn't have to cut anything off. It was just you sliced it up into little bits, and it was almost like chewing gum. It was like chewing the fat. It was so amazing. Salt it up, chew it, great snack. And you don't have to spend money going and buying stuff that's packaged as these crisps and things like that. I think it's the best yourself.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper. I can't afford to go buy those carnivore snacks.
They are way crazy. You're right.
No, we'll buy some of those, what are they called? Chomps. And there's some other, fairly clean meat sticks. We'll buy those and keep those around for, if I've got to go to the sale barn or something, I got to go early and I don't have time to fix me something. I'll grab a couple of those and eat those for my breakfast or something. But, most of them carnivore, pure carnivore snacks are too expensive. It's a lot cheaper to make your own. And I just bought me one of them air fryers, and it's got a dehydrator setting on it. I'm gonna have to do some of that bacon.
Yeah, it's good. I have a dehydrator, and of course, mine only goes to 165. I know Jerry, she did it. She did 175 for 8 hours, but mine, I think 165, 8 hours, perfect. Very little rendered fat at the bottom. That was it. Other than that, like when you cook your regular bacon, you lose a lot of your fat off of it.
Yeah, well, when I smoke a steak, and I love smoking my steaks, when I smoke a steak, I don't lose a lot of fat. There's not a lot of fat drippings off of them. Because they're not in there very long, really. They're only in there for 35, 40 minutes.
And what's the temperature get up to?
250. Oh, on the inside of the meat?
No, in the how
in my
smoker.
Yeah, 250. I smoke everything at 250, but I only bring I pull my steaks when they're at 120.
getting a dehydrator is next on my to-do list. So I want to make my own jerky or bacon jerky, like Kelly was talking about. So
another thing is delicious, and I did it yesterday right after my live. I made some Kiltz's ice cream with some Mexican vanilla, and I just put just a little bit of honey in it.
Yep, it's all you need. And actually, you don't even have to put it in it. Sometimes you just drizzle a little bit. That's your other option.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah,
I do fine with just the vanilla.
Yep, that's good too.
Yeah, I've done it different ways.
I haven't had anything sweet in over 3 years or 3 years now, and using pure cream alone is plenty sweet for me.
It's good.
So using a little honey is my favorite. I've also made it with some stevia. That turned out okay. I tried making it with allulose, but allulose gives me tummy troubles, so I can't do allulose. But I know that's a popular option for sweetening up your ice cream a little bit, your Kiltz's ice cream. So, and I've tried making it with different extracts too. So vanilla, I think, tastes the best, but I've tried the orange cream and I've tried the strawberry. Strawberry extract was okay, but it didn't feel, I don't know, it was still kind of weird. Like that, I sweetened that one with honey, and the honey and the strawberry flavors kind of clashed. So, but yeah, Kiltz's ice cream. I bought a Ninja Creamy just to make Kiltz's ice cream.
Yeah, I heard that's a good way to do it with the Ninja creamer.
Yeah, you make your batch. You blended everything together and you pour it in the container and you put it in the freezer and you let it freeze for 24 hours. Then you take it out and you let the Ninja Creamy kind of grind it up and fluff it up and turn it into an ice cream. So it works different than like a traditional ice cream maker. Yep. The only downside is if you want ice cream now, you're not going to get it now. You know, you have to think, if I want ice cream in 24 hours from now, I got to make it now so it can have time to freeze.
Remember that old ketchup commercial, Anticipation, the song playing? Did I just date us, Dr. Kim?
You did. You did.
All right.
Was that before 1978?
Yeah, it was probably around that time.
I love ketchup. I loved it so much.
Oh, yeah, I was a big ketchup fan.
I'm a 56er myself.
So, all right, this is kind of skipping ahead, but it's relevant to our conversation, so we'll address it first. GFG Homestead asks, what are your opinions of fat fasting?
It's not fasting.
No, I thought it was fasting, but fasting for me, fasting is you don't eat anything. You just drink water or dry.
I mean, it's like sardine fast.
Yeah.
It's not fasting.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense to me. Stop calling it fasting. You're only going to eat fat, then just eat fat. Don't call it fasting. But that's just my opinion. I don't mean to step on anybody's toes.
Now, with that said, if that's all you're eating and your protein macros are super low, that's supposed to trigger that FGF21 hormone that helps you accelerate the weight loss. So you might if you find that you lose more weight with fat fasting, that's probably the reason why. It's the same reason why the sugar diet worked, but people like Nick Norwitz and Sean Baker, they did the same thing, but they did it with fat and no protein, and they got the same effects. So,
well, if you eat raw fat contains sugars and proteins. And if you get back to the bear's hibernation, they lose no muscle mass, no bone mass, and they build baby bears in 6 months of hibernation, and all they used was adipocytes. Because think of the adipocytes like a chylomicron or a VLDL, it's just the perfect molecule or cell that contains everything the body requires. So if you eat, this is why in the ketogenic diets before insulin, eating fat was the real healthiest thing you eat. But when you cook it, you render it, you essentially glycate and oxidize the amino acids and the sugars. And now it's just empty fat, an empty
Good to know.
calorie. It's an empty calorie, actually.
Yeah.
All right. So then fat fasting then for GFG's question. I mean, I think if that's what you enjoy and you can do that for periods of time and it doesn't have any adverse effects on you, but positive effects, have at it. There's nothing wrong with eating fat.
Eating butter. I mean, if it's, essentially you're eating, if you're getting raw butter, it's the unpasteurized stuff that's probably the best, but you're getting mostly fat.
All right. Very good. Okay. Oh, let me leave that starred so I mark my place. Go back to the top of the list. I started this for a reason. My favorite bacon from Sam's was ramping up my glucose, so I know they added sugar. And so yeah, depending on the bacon, a lot of bacon is cured with sugar. The reason I started this is because I went to Sam's yesterday, and for the first time they had beef bacon. So I got a package of beef bacon down in the fridge that I'm going to try. I've had beef bacon before. I usually get it from my local butcher, Duma's Meats. I'll get beef bacon down there. And I thought it was kind of pricey at Sam's. I actually think it's cheaper at the local butcher, but I wanted to give it a try. So, and I could be wrong about the price, but I actually really love beef bacon. So pork bacon's good, but beef bacon's kind of like a treat.
I can actually go to the Wright's factory where they make it locally here. It's about, not quite an hour away from me. But I can go right there and get it fresh off the factory.
That's nice. Very nice. M&I Magic. I was eating too much fat and was having AFib every night, so I had to stop the extra fat, and it's been 2 weeks now without AFib. I eat 1.5 to 2 pounds of hamburger per meal or per day. So, okay, well, as long as, if you've made some adjustments and you're benefiting from it, then good for you.
I'd be curious to know how much fat you were eating.
Yeah.
Because, everybody knows I'm an ex-AFibber because of carnivore. It
doesn't make sense because
that
would suppress inflammation.
Exactly.
So, it's
yeah,
weird.
because that's what my when my cardiologist saw how good I was doing as a carnivore, just 6 months in, my AFib had disappeared basically, and I was down to just having a few palpitations a week. And now, gosh, I can't remember the last time I felt anything in my heart other than a little PVC. And, I'm off of all my medications, and my cardiologist just loves what I've done. And I had 2 of them, and one of them just fired me. He said, "You've done more to heal yourself than anything I could have done for you," and he cut me loose. And then my other one, he said, "I just want to see you once a year now." But the thing was, he said that the reason why my AFib had gone away is because I removed the inflammation from my chest by eating the way I'm eating.
Yep.
And we know that eating fat reduces inflammation. It doesn't promote inflammation in your body. So I'd be curious to know, how much fat you were eating to kick in your AFib.
Here's a question. Could AFib, could like heart palpitations or other symptoms be mistaken for AFib?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, a PVC, which is very similar to a heart palpitation, because there would be times I'd have a little something going on, and I'm going, okay, is that an AFib, or am I fixing to trip off into AFib, or is that a PVC? And usually it was how long it lasted would tell me which one it was. But in reality, they can both feel very similar to each other. And and that's another thing. What kind of AFib did you have?
What type of fat? What was the fat source?
Okay, that too.
Was it avocado?
Yeah, now me on my AFib, I had paroxysmal AFib, So that means I wasn't in AFib all the time. I know people that are in AFib all the time to the point they have to have a pacemaker. I was just in it. I would once a year, I'd have little attacks throughout the year, but once a year I'd have a severe attack that would put me in ICU. And they would be that close to hitting me with the paddles. And I managed to avoid the paddles each time. So I'm now 3 years and I have not had an AFib attack. I haven't felt AFib. I even quit wearing my monitor. Of course, I quit wearing it because it broke, but I haven't bothered to get another monitor because I don't need it anymore. As far as I'm concerned, I'm cured of AFib. Maybe it's just a reversal, but to me, that's a cure.
It's inflammation. Inflammation causes AFib. Fat in general reduces it. Just be interesting to know maybe it was just not quite healed yet. But
yeah,
what was the fat? Gentlemen,
well,
I've got to go. I apologize because I get up really early. I wanted to catch you guys before I went to bed. It's always a pleasure.
And you'll be live at 6 a.m. Eastern time, right?
That's absolutely it. So,
all right,
that is. Thank you to everyone, and always enjoy Bob and the team. So, night, everyone.
Good seeing you again.
It's good seeing you.
Always a pleasure. See you tomorrow.
See ya.
And so, and that brings up another thing. Piggybacking off of what you said, Bob. How long you been doing carnivore? You know, you may still be healing.
Right. Yeah.
You know, because it was a slow progression for me. The first thing that happened for me in my journey was I had to be taken off the blood pressure medicine. I was on metropolol, and the carnivore had dropped my blood pressure down to normal levels within about 3 months or so. And in so doing, the metropolol was taking me too low. And my blood pressure was down to like 77/54 or something like that. And so my doctor took me off of metropolol. But it was another 9 months to 12 months before he took me off the flecainide, which was my other heart medicine. And but I was at least 9 months in when I started noticing that nothing's happening anymore in my chest, or everything was getting less and less and less, until finally, like I said, I'm 3 years in, and I can't remember. I was having a little something every day, and then a little something twice a week, and then a little something every 2 weeks. And now I can't tell you last time I felt anything in my chest.
Here's a good comment from Latro Genie Weil here. One root cause of AFib is a magnesium shortage.
Yeah.
So that could be.
There is truth in that, because magnesium is a heart healthy mineral. But then there's so many. They don't know exactly what causes AFib, because AFib is an electrical short in your heart, and so they believe, and I agree with Dr. Kiltz and my cardiologist. Inflammation has a lot to do with it. Just like inflammation affects us in so many ways. But they also say one of the things is sleep apnea. The first thing they do if you start having AFib attacks, they check you for sleep apnea, and everybody does. And that was something else that carnivore did for me, is it reduced my sleep apnea down to a level 4, which is barely there. I don't even need my machine or my dental implant anymore. I don't basically have sleep apnea anymore. And so that is also a factor in AFib. No, not oxide.
Yeah. Jeanette says,
Jeanette typed a question. He's talking about magnesium, not oxide. No, not oxide.
Yeah, no, anything oxide you want to stay away from.
Yeah, I've got oxide, but that's for bowel issues. But yeah.
I take a magnesium complex that has every magnesium in it except for oxide.
Yeah.
I'll bring mine up here on the screen here in a minute.
And PVCs, while they feel weird, I had them long before I ever developed atrial fibrillation. And I kind of got used to them. Every once in a while, I'd have one bad enough to make me pull over if I was driving, just to make sure I wasn't going to pass out or something. But my understanding is PVCs don't do any damage. They're not that bad. They just feel weird. But I don't even have PVC. If I have them, they're very minor these days.
Here's the magnesium that I sometimes take. I'm not really taking this much anymore. So you can take up to supposedly like 5-6 pills a day. I take one like a couple times a week at best. So, and only because I had it on subscription for a while, so I got several bottles. So, but I haven't had to take electrolytes in a long time. But that's a good brand right here, Zentastic. It's 4-in-1. You got your magnesium glycinate, magnesium malate, magnesium taurate, and magnesium lactate. So those are all highly absorbable. None of those magnesiums are the magnesiums that send you to the toilet. So, because
how much does that cost, Bob?
So this says $27 with the coupon.
That's not bad. I pay $35 mine on Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like this one, but it's 4-in-1. I've seen other people promoting some that are 7-in-1 and whatnot, but that's a good brand. It's been my favorite so far. Let's see here. So yeah, we got that comment up about the PVCs, and I am going through the most recent comments. Yeah, that's what we were just addressing there. And let me star it so I remember where I'm at. Here we go. Magnesium glycinate chelate is a popular form. Yeah. All right, Tom's heading out. You have a good night, Tom. Don't give up the fight. Keep marching forward. Carnivore soldier. You can do it. All right. Let's see here. And there we go. I'll star this one. I'm at the end of the comments now. We'll go back to where I had started from before. Yeah, this was, we talked about beef bacon. We talked about the AFib. Uncle Charlie, the longest fast for me was 21 days. Awesome.
Impressive.
Good job. That is impressive. Yes.
Impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like something I'm not even interested in. I admire all of you who fast for long periods of time, but I'm just like, my longest fast was 40 hours. I went from like Friday dinner to Sunday brunch, and that's like my longest fast. So, and I was all right. Like Saturday, after your first hunger pang comes and subsides, then you can actually go a long time without eating. Once you get past it, you're fine. But I like to eat, so.
I did a 48-hour fast a couple of weeks ago. Well, when I wasn't here for the live stream 2 weeks ago,
right?
Me and my wife had to go out to Louisiana, and she wanted to do a fast, and she said, "Let's not even eat on the road. Let's not eat when we get there. Let's just fast." I said, "Okay, sounds good." She says, "I support it." She said, "Do you want to?" And I said, "If you want to, I'll do one with you," because I wanted to support her. And so we didn't eat till we got back home. We was gone for 2 days.
All right. I'm going to have to use the restroom. I'm going to throw this comment up here real quick, and you guys can talk about it or anything else for in the meantime. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Butter suppresses cortisol. Dr. Bright has even suggested keeping butter pats on the nightstand. That's interesting. I didn't know that. So I'll be right back.
Who was it that was saying? Go ahead, Kelly.
I can't remember. It was someone with an interview or on one of the YouTube channels. It was a long video. I can't remember. And I remember she was talking about that she would have butter out on her nightstand. That
was
just
it Bella?
like what they talking about. It might have been Bella. I couldn't remember if it was Bella.
Because I remember watching, because I saw an interview and somebody was talking about that. For some reason, I want to say it was Bella, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. But I'm a big believer in, if you're struggling, if you're having cravings, that you eat some fat, you eat some butter. We was talking about making our own, rendering out our own fat, making tallow. I keep the rendered portions, the leftovers, and I would heat them up and salt them a little bit for a snack if I was getting a craving. And that was early on in my journey. I'm far enough along I don't get cravings anymore. It's no big deal. But I will still keep them.
Yeah, I have
just because they taste good.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they just taste good.
I've either do butter. I have butter. I'll cut up some butter, or I even got some butter balls. The Land O'Lakes butter balls. As long as it's the salted butter ones, and I pop a couple of them, and I'm good.
Yeah, and that's where the what was it, the brown butter bites come in. Those are real handy for people. I've never made them, but I keep thinking I'll find me some of them little molds or something. I may make some just for a fat snack sometime when I'm eating something that doesn't have a lot of fat. Eat some of them. Now my daughter made some last Christmas. She made some for me, but I don't think they quite browned enough. I'm not sure she did them right. And she made two different kinds. She made one with bacon in it, which was pretty good. And then the other one she made with a touch of allulose in it to give it some sweetness. And that was almost like a candy. It was good, but I'm not sure that's something I want to eat all the time. I don't want that sweet all the time.
Now I made it, and I even made a video where I did brown butter bites and I used bacon. I chopped up some bacon and put it in there, and it turned out really good.
Yeah.
Put it in the freezer and makes a quick, nice hard snack.
I've done the brown butter bites with a little stevia or allulose, and it becomes sweet like candy. Very addictive.
Yeah, that's why I ate some, and I'm like, yeah, this could get me in trouble real quick.
All right.
Like so many of us, I am an addict. My name is Geezy, and I am a carb addict.
Calorie Counting Carnivore says, I have a big pat of butter before bed at room temperature. And Sandy Blythe says, yes, a tablespoon of butter before bed helps with sleep. So that's interesting. Very interesting. All right, let me star that last one.
Maybe I ought to try doing that because I don't sleep good.
Yeah, it might be.
I'm one of those carnivores that hasn't been helped in the sleep area.
Yeah, I haven't either. I mean, I'm a lifelong shift worker. I sleep from 9 to 3, whether it's day or night. When I work nights, I come home, I sleep from 9 to 3, and I'm awake. And like tonight, I'll go to bed another 30 or 40 minutes, 3:30 in the morning. I'll be up. I'll be in the gym at 4:30.
Yeah.
I just don't.
I don't know what this work thing is you're talking about. But it sounds familiar.
I hope I get there.
I'll pass out between 11 and midnight. I'll wake up at 3, let the dog out, usually charge my phone up and go to bed, and sleep again from 4 to 7:30. So I like clockwork. That's my routine.
For me, it doesn't seem to matter how much work I put in. I mean, I can bust it all day on the farm, working hard in the heat and everything, be wiped out, and it doesn't matter. I'm still going to get up about the same time every morning. And part of it is since I turned 18, I have been getting up between 3 and 5 o'clock in the morning nearly every day since I turned 18. And when I retired, the last 10 years before I retired, I didn't set an alarm clock because I was going to get up in plenty of time to go to work. And I had to be to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. And so I would always be awake around 4:30. Never had an issue with it.
That's
and
where I'm at.
And now I'm working on my 6th year of retirement, and I settled down a little bit. I will still wake up around 5 now, but I'll try to go back to sleep. Sometimes I'm able to doze off. Most times I'm not, but guaranteed I will be up with the sun. If that sun is up, I cannot sleep. But
Well,
I can sleep. I mean, day or night, it doesn't matter. I sleep very well during that 6-hour period, but it's not. And where prior to carnivore, if I got up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, I could, get something to drink, lay back down, and a lot of times I could go back to sleep. But once I got on carnivore, I don't know if it's like maybe first cousins to the mental clarity or whatever that we talk about. But when I wake up, it's bing and it's ready, and I'm ready to go. It's no laying around. It's no dragging out of the bed. When I'm up, I'm up.
In the wintertime, I'll go to bed around 8 o'clock because it gets dark so early here, like in December and January. But once the day starts getting longer now in April, May, June, and July, I can go to bed around 10 o'clock. I'll be fine at 10 o'clock. And then 4 o'clock, I'm up. And no matter if I with alarm or not. And my only issue is like, I mean, I need to start learning to go without the TV when I go to bed. But most of the time I'll turn that TV on. Next thing I know, I'm flipping over, getting that remote, turning it off. And next thing I know, the alarm's going off. But the only issue that I have, and it doesn't matter if I stop drinking at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, like a lot of people say, I still in the middle of the night, I will wake up and go to the restroom, but I go right back to sleep.
Yeah, well, that is part of my problem right there. So I have an enlarged prostate. In fact, I have prostate cancer. And so I'm getting up at least once, and more often than not, 2 times, sometimes 3 times a night. It's just one of them things.
So here's a question, kind of out of order too. We'll go back and look at some of the starred ones, but Oscar Astudio, I would guess. Oscar here. Hey guys, what do you think about those who claim that meat tightens blood vessels? So what do I think of those? They're misinformed. So that's not true. And here's a study to prove it. So I can share this link too. Let me click it. I'm going to post this in the chat so you can see what I'm looking at. Nutrition data review shows red meat has neutral effect on cardiovascular disease risk factors. So no, studies have shown that eating meat does not tighten up your blood vessels at all. So that's a complete myth. There's not a single ounce of truth to it, and you're not going to find a study that says that.
I don't know that I've ever heard the term tightens the blood vessels.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't heard it put that way. But I'm gonna say it's totally false. We have too many people that have had heart conditions, cardiovascular disease, that have totally reversed it by eating nothing but meat.
Mm-hmm.
Because once again, like we said before, it reduces inflammation in the body. And inflammation is your biggest factor when it comes to most metabolic diseases.
Yes.
And here's another one, Oscar. Let me share this screen. And I'll share this link. So this is it, our favorite site, PubMed. I'm going to share the link right now. This one's entitled Assessment of Vascular Function in Response to High-Fat and Low-Fat Ground Beef Consumption in Men. And all the details are here, but if we scroll all the way down to the conclusion, it says, our results demonstrate that the addition of either low or high-fat ground beef does not negatively impact vascular function. In fact, the HFB intervention improved the FMD response which is known to decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease. So it actually, red meat consumption had a net positive effect. So that's what the studies show.
I can tell you one thing about it. Before I even started keto, I was on 10 milligrams. I had to go on 10 milligrams of blood pressure medicine. I got probably almost within 6 to 8 months of keto, I dropped to 5 milligrams, and I stayed on 5 milligrams up until October of 2024 when I noticed my blood pressure, and I was probably, 60 to 90 days on carnivore, and my blood pressure was dropping where I could have just got off of it, but we decided to go drop it to 2.5, drop it in half. And now I'll just take it maybe every other day now. And so I'm eventually going to see my primary care doctor soon. And, if he says it's fine, he'll say it's up to me. Cause that's one thing I like about my doctor is that he doesn't try to push the statins. He doesn't push medicine and stuff like that. He believes in, nutrition fixes the, your health.
Very nice.
Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food.
Even though he believes in fruits and vegetables, you need to eat fruits and vegetables, but he's seen the progress I made with the carnivore versus before, and he says, whatever you do, just keep on doing it.
That's the way my cardiologist was. He never once griped about how I ate.
Yeah,
he
my
saw the
neurologist
results.
the same way. He actually said he probably wasn't quite ready to prescribe the carnivore diet to his other patients, but he surely wished a bunch of his patients would call and talk to me and let them explain to me, because I went from having immunal numbers completely off both ends of the chart, where my immune system was absolutely just ravaging my body, and then the part that was supposed to be doing something was just laying dormant. And now both numbers are back within the green, if you want to call it normal, off all medicines. I mean, it's been amazing. And he's like, I remember the first day I said, well, I didn't even tell him until I'd been on the diet about 6 months. And I said, I'm on the carnivore diet. And he goes, ooh, I don't know about that. And I said, well, he says, let's check your blood numbers. And within 6 months, I'd already started showing improvements. And then around the 13, 14 month mark, I was back in, everything was as normal, pretty much to where everybody gets a self-diagnose, but I say I no longer have neuromyelitis. He says I still have it, but I haven't had a symptom since June of 24, and I started carnivore in May of 24. So, I say I'm good, but I go see him once a year. And, we talk, and that's about all we do. So it's once you, like Dr. Kiltz was saying, inflammation is probably 99% of what's wrong with most everything we have health-wise. You eliminate the inflammation and the sources of inflammation, your body will heal and do amazing things on its own.
Inflammation and insulin resistance.
Yep, insulin resistance.
It all boils down to them two things right there.
That's what's keeping my hip from being in so much pain, or why even though I walk like Walter Brennan, Grandpa McCoy on the Real McCoys. That's what my mom
I
said.
remember that. I used to love that show.
She said that's what Walter Brennan walks. That's how he walks. And I'm like, so I just joke around, hey, Grandpa McCoy here.
Hey, brother, I've been there, done that. I lived with a busted up hip for 20 years before I got mine replaced.
Mine's getting replaced August.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah, and I'm telling you, it's a rough surgery, but it's a good thing. In the end, when I was getting mine done, so my little girl, she asked me before I went in for the surgery. She says, Daddy, will you be able to ride again? And I said, I don't know. I'll have to ask the doctor. And so I did. I asked him. I said, well, I'll be able to ride horseback again, because we're a rodeo family. My daughter grew up riding and in fact, her horse that she used for roping in the high school rodeos, she raised she paid for the stud fee for the mama. She raised that colt. She trained that colt. She did everything herself. And anyhow, my wife rodeos, everybody in the family rodeos. And she says, well, I hope you can, Daddy, because we've never got to ride together. And after I got my hip in shape, did all the rehab and everything, got it done, I was able to start riding again. And I started working cattle again. We started working on the ranches again, and I was able to ride again for a good probably about 15 years or so, maybe 16 years. And it started bothering me a little bit, so I got off the horses again, put my saddle up, and so I don't ride anymore. But right now I feel like I want to ride. We got a new colt, and I want to ride so bad, but I just don't need to take a fall if something happens. It's too far to fall now. So like my grandkids, my daughter asked me if I could take grandkids ice skating because they're shocked I know how to ice skate. I'm a Texas boy, South Texas boy, but I can ice skate because I lived in Alaska for 3 years. And and I took our kids ice skating when they were little, and everybody was shocked when I brought my daughter out on the ice and I spun around backwards and skated backwards, holding onto her hands, and everybody's like, "We didn't know you could do that." I said, "Yeah, I can snow ski too." But she asked what I thought about taking the grandkids ice skating. I said, "No, I don't need to take a fall. I'm getting too old to fall. I don't bounce good anymore."
All right. Jason asks, I just joined your carnivore forum. Is it still active or winding down? So it goes through phases. So we have slow spells. I think right now the weather is getting nice in a lot of areas. So people, instead of being inside on their computers, they're out picking up sticks, mowing the lawn, doing their landscaping and whatnot. So I think a lot of people are enjoying the outside. So it ebbs and flows. So it'll bounce back. So
chasing naders. No, I'm just kidding.
So so I mean, obviously what you can do obviously is participate, start a new topic of your own, ask some questions, or go through, look at some of the existing conversations, go ahead and add your comments, bump them back to the top, and other people will get notified. If you make it, usually if your settings by default, your settings are if you post or make a reply, then when someone follows up, you'll get an email notification too.
Did you approve him?
Let's see here.
I haven't gotten a notification because I always get an email if somebody's
Oh, okay. Well, let me
somebody new is coming on.
That's a good question.
And I haven't gotten anything on it.
Gmail. And I got to switch to the. When did you join? Yeah, I don't have an email either.
Yeah, I don't have any notifications.
Yeah, let me go under the hood and see if there's anybody there. Members. What is today? 4/13. Now the last person to register was on 4/10. So nobody registered today.
At least not by that name.
Yeah.
I don't know what handle he's using on there.
Yeah. I'd share the screen, but you'd see everybody's email addresses. So, yeah, no, the last person to register was on April 10th. And usually I can sort by validating. All right. Can't I? Oh, no. In this community, I have a couple communities. In this one, there's no validating. You just automatically get. So when you make your first post, though, that first post will have to be proofread by either Jeff or I, and we have to approve it. And then after that, you can post without having it proofread. But the only reason we have it set up that way is because we get a lot of Russian spammers. So,
yeah, we do.
So
I can look up the IP addresses. So many of them come from Moscow or the Philippines.
Yeah, so we get these accounts that they were registering. They'd come over and they'd reply to a bunch of threads or start a bunch of topics, but they were all links to some Russian site where you would go buy merchandise or something. So we set it to where we have to approve every first post. So if your first post says, "Hey, I'm a Russian bot," then we ban you. And if your first post is actually a legitimate, introduction or a carnivore question, then we let it through. So that's just our way of separating the wheat from the chaff, as it were.
Yeah.
We can come up with a better saying besides wheat and chaff when we're carnivores. Come up with a better saying.
I'll have to go in there and do that, so that way if that comes up, because I don't know what a Russian bot looks like.
Or you'll know it when you see it.
Yeah. All right. Hey, we lost Scott. I wonder if he needed to go to bed or if he lost his connection there. All right, DS111. I bought my first Malden sea salt flakes. I like it a lot. Oh yeah, Malden salt flakes are delicious. They're good.
I eat them by themselves.
Yeah. My local supermarket sells the smoked Malden now. My 12-year-old is loving it. I haven't tried the smoked Malden. I've had smoked cherry Redmonds. That's what I've had. And I want to get more of the different.
Malden's my go-to.
Jeff, they did some tests, and one of the best avocado oils is a brand called Chosen, top-notch non-cut avocado oil.
We use Chosen mayonnaise.
I think I do too.
Store-bought.
Avocado oil mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what mine is too. I got it down at the wholesale club here.
I'll either use the Chosen avocado oil or the Chosen avocado mayo. If I want to make it, I'll use the Chosen, because I found out that Primal Kitchen is, even though it's sold in the organic stores, but I've found out that one of the big foods owns it now.
They ruin everything.
Well, if they own it and still stick to the original recipe, that's fine. Wasn't that Mark Sisson that started that? He's a paleo kind of guy. Let's see here. Jason says that ship may have sailed at 18. I hope I have time to mold my son. He eats 75% carnivore meat basis called. Depending what the other 25% is, that might be good for him. Good enough. So I'm not opposed to keto. I'm not opposed to animal based, and if you listen to people like Bart K, a hyper carnivore, or someone who eats at least 75% of their energy from animal based products, and if he's 75% carnivore, then he's a hyper carnivore according to Bart K. Bart K, and who's his young protege? Ed Goki. Yeah, Ed Goki says the same thing. So. All right. Mavra's Greek olive oil. She has a website. She sources her own from her family farm in Greece. Well, that's good to know. Yeah. If I'm going to use an oil, it's going to be avocado oil, olive oil, or coconut oil. Those are it.
Yeah. The only thing about fruit oils is getting them too hot. You want to use the highest temp. If you're going to use them, you want to use the highest temp. And I think, and I don't know this for a fact, but it's my understanding avocado has a higher heat temp than olive oil. And then there's something about the olive oil that you get it too hot and it like oxidizes or something. Something about it ain't good for you. And I don't cook with either one of them. I cook with butter, lard, tallow. That's pretty much it. The only thing I use the avocado oil for is to season my cast iron. And I use that because that won't, if I don't use my cast iron for a while, that won't go rancid like tallow will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about what I do is use the avocado oil for seasoning my cast iron after I get done. Now here lately, I've been doing the lard or tallow, but I use that quite often and it stays on top of the stove top because you want to either hang it because if you stack it, it will go rancid. But with the avocado oil, it doesn't.
Right, exactly. And that's what I do. Now, see, my daily cast iron, and I don't use it daily, but the one I use a couple of times a week, that one's fine. In fact, if I've got a bunch of rendered fat in it, I'll just leave the fat in there. It's not going to go bad because I'm going to use it for too long. But now I've got a big campfire skillet that I'll use outdoors on my outdoor cooker. And with that one, or with my flat top that I keep outdoors, those I'm using avocado oil on.
Oh, it just unstarred a comment that I didn't mean to. Oh, oopsie. Lions Danivore podcast. I love the fact that I don't have to force myself to eat. I'm currently in a bodybuilding competition, and the amount of contestants arguing about macros makes me laugh my ass off. I'm getting results just by one meal a day.
Yeah. Yeah, I belong to a forum, a fitness forum, for people who train and lift. And I'm always hearing people talking about, balancing their macros, with carbs, and they all believe they have to have carbs to train. And some of them, most of them do great with it. They're not having an issue. But like there was a guy on there the other day, I've been training for 15 years or whatever. And I weigh this amount and I'm this tall and I don't understand why I'm not getting cut like you are. Not talking about me, talking about the guy that owns the site or runs the site. He is extremely cut, 10% body fat. And this guy was complaining, what am I doing wrong? I train 4 days a week, and he's telling him, giving him advice. And I threw down in there and here's the deal, man. It's all about what you're putting in your body, not what you're doing to your body. And in my opinion, I don't know what you eat, but you might want to take a look at what you're eating, and they're talking calories and everything. I said, quit talking calories. Don't worry about the calories. What you need to look at is what type of food you're eating, because it's not the calories. It's what the calories do to your body. So, 2,500 calories of donuts is going to affect your body totally different than 2,500 calories of steak. So you need to examine what type of food you're eating. And if you're indulging in a bunch of dairy, there's a reason why you're not getting cut right there. So examine your diet. But it is amazing.
I did some research about this Primal Kitchen. It's owned by Kraft Heinz. Actually, they owned it before I even went keto. I even knew about Primal Kitchen. They were acquired in 2019, but the founders' role, why they sold the company business, the founders, Mark Sisson and Morgan Zanoldi, stays on to help lead the brand, meaning keep the brand as they had it. And I looked at the ingredients exactly just like the Chosen. So the Primal Kitchen is okay to use.
Okay, good deal.
Yep, very good. Thanks for looking into that. I figured it was. I only heard about the Kraft thing like maybe 2 weeks ago. Someone brought it up here on the channel also. So, but yeah, well, it's good that they haven't tainted it. it would really defeat it. It would defeat the brand altogether. The
Yeah,
whole point
and
of that
it's-
brand is to not use seed oils.
Yeah, and it says right on the label that I pulled up on Walmart.com. It says no soy, no canola, no seed oils, no sugars.
Good deal. Have you ever made your own mayonnaise?
Yeah, it's really easy to make.
I'll tell you, some of the best I ever made, I used duck fat. And it was really good. But the problem is, if you don't use it right away and you refrigerate it, it's going to turn into a rock, and it's no longer spreadable. But Chris from Chris Cook in Nashville, he's got a butter recipe, a butter mayo recipe that does not set up hard. It still stays spreadable. And it's not that hard to make. It's fairly easy.
Yeah, I did when I was keto, I did and I saved the video. It was Thomas DeLauer. He had a simple one with avocado oil, and it was just 3 egg yolks, Dijon mustard, some salt to taste, pepper. I don't use black pepper anymore, but then it was a cup of avocado oil, and you just slowly pour it in, and it formed the mayo, and it was really good. It lasted a week. Of course, in my house, it didn't last but 3 days.
Yeah, the only thing we use mayo for now is if we make like some chicken salad, tuna salad, salmon salad, something like that. That's all we use it for.
I'll still get I'll make tuna fish, tuna salad, or egg salad sometimes, or sometimes I still like to get beef bologna at the deli sliced real thick, and I like to make hot beef bologna sandwiches using egg life wraps and cheese, and I like to mayonnaise those up too, mayonnaise and mustard. So,
and down here we like smoked bologna. Man, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Kent Rollins do that. He smoked a bologna, and it was good.
Smoked bologna is great. Yeah, I used to eat them all the time. So I don't eat bread anymore, but I can still make some up with chaffles. But yeah, smoked bologna is great.
Steadfast takes a magnesium complex daily in addition to daily electrolytes. I've also added potassium recently since we're supposed to get 4,700 milligrams of potassium, but I don't without supplementing. So, some people need electrolytes. There's no denying it, especially if you're at the beginning of your keto carnivore journey, more so than later. I don't take any electrolytes, but I think part of the reason is because of my late stage chronic kidney disease. I don't excrete electrolytes very much. So I take no potassium at all. My potassium runs high, like almost dangerously high. That's why I can't take electrolytes. My magnesium usually runs high, so I don't take it, but maybe a little bit here and there. And
apparently I'm getting enough from my diet without adding anything to it. Because when I was taking electrolytes early on in my journey, taking them every day, it threw my potassium levels too high. Mm-hmm. And you got to be careful with potassium because that's what they use to stop your heart if you're on death row. Mine got up in the danger zone. Not good when you got a heart that don't work right.
And not just death row. When they stop your heart for surgery, that's also what they do is they give you a big potassium shot, I've heard.
Yeah.
So, all right.
You have a question from she didn't put it down as a question, but Carrie Jean.
Do you get all your fasting insulin tested?
Yeah.
And what do you consider a good number? So seldom. I don't. So I have before. What is a good number? I don't know. Let's see if the Dr. Berry book lets us know. I thought for some reason I heard less than 10, but I might be thinking of another lab. Fasting insulin. Well, no, didn't have it. Listed it as something you should get, but then it didn't explain it.
I don't think. Let's see.
Insulin, fasting. One of the central tests for diagnosing hyperinsulinemia, strongly suggesting metabolic syndrome. Our bodies need a base amount of insulin to function properly. However, that level is a fairly low number. When fasting insulin levels are high, it indicates that the body is overproducing insulin, which can be very damaging on a long-term basis. That's all that says here. So let me turn to the internet. Let's see here. What is a good fasting insulin? Oh, it's not typing. Let me actually put the mouse in the oh, there's what is a good fasting insulin number on a blood test?
Okay. Apparently I had one. I didn't even pay attention to it, but my last blood test, which was back in June, or no, that's my birthday. Never mind. No, it was back in January, my last blood test. Mine was 5.5. So
most commercial labs list fasting as roughly between 2 and 25. Values up to 25 are often flagged as normal. Okay, so that doesn't mean it's normal. That's, remember, the medical community is kind of goofy. Ideal optimal is 2 to 6. Very good is under 8 to 10. Borderline needs monitoring is 7 to 12, and concerning is anything above 10 to 15. So, yeah, people like Dr. Mark Hyman and others aim for 2 to 5.
So on my
so Latro here in his comments correct. Fasting insulin should be in the low single digits.
okay, now what they said on the range on mine on my paperwork here, said hemoglobin A1C 5.5%, the range 4.0 to 5.6. We know how those ranges are, depending on how they test, where they're testing at. But it said pre-diabetes 5.7 to 6.4. Anything over 6.4 was considered diabetic. Glycemic control for adults and with diabetes should be less than 7.0. That's just what they got on my paperwork here. And anytime I get a blood test, I have them printed out for me so I can keep track of everything, compare it to the last one.
All right. Let's see here. There we go. I'm just catching up on some comments here, starring them. I've got 10 starred. Oh, here's an interesting one. You can have a high fasting insulin, but good A1C. A lot of damage is done before A1C flags a problem. That is very true. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's go back to the top. So yeah, we were talking about electrolytes. Coach Angela Mullins' longest fast was 5 days. That's still admirable, in my opinion. Very good.
I did about 36 hours, and I did that in December 2024 because I was getting a colon screening, which the tests come out great.
Mm-hmm. Amy says, Dad just had 3 stents put in, and everyone's jumping on her about not letting her dad eat meat and eggs. So it's sad that's what they immediately go to. It gets the blame. It's all those meat and eggs.
Well, ain't nobody's business but her dad's.
Right.
What he eats.
Yeah, he can eat what he wants. He's earned it. All right. The highest temp smoke point is algae oil. I've never heard of algae oil. From memory is 575 degrees Fahrenheit and omega-9 oil. Interesting.
Well, I got plenty of algae right now out there on my stock tank. I sure would like to get rid of it. Squeeze the oil out of it.
Rick is in the house. He continues to eat 3 meals a day. So, with that said, Rick and anybody else who's watching, we've got 30-some votes so far. So I have a poll in the corner of the screen. If you eat 1 meal a day, type 1 and hit enter. If you eat 2 meals a day, type the number 2 in the chat, press enter. And if you eat 3 or more meals a day, type the number 3 in the chat and press enter. Just the digit, hit enter. That's how you vote in this poll. And StreamYard will collect that data and adjust the poll accordingly. So yeah, to let us know in the poll what you eat. Right now we got 6 for OMAD, 24 for 2MAD, and 2 for just MAD. 3 meals a day. All right. Mark Sisson is a good guy. I agree. I think Mark Sisson is a very good guy. And then there's people that follow his advice and thrive. So yeah, he's a good man. Carrie Jean, you can easily make your own homemade mayonnaise simply with an egg or an egg yolk or egg yolk or 2, plus a little bit of lemon juice, salt, or whatever spices. Avocado.
It's real simple to make.
Oil.
Oh,
You can use lard.
I use my KitchenAid mixer, 3 egg yolks, tablespoon or teaspoon of Dijon mustard, cup of avocado oil, salt of your choice, as long as it's not table salt, and a little bit of lemon juice or vinegar works great.
Very good. Latro says potassium shortage will manifest as high blood pressure. So that there we go. So some people they're definitely deficient in potassium.
Yeah, I get all mine from the food I eat, so I don't need to supplement it.
Yeah. No, I looked into it. Like, if you eat a couple pounds or more of meat, you should be getting plenty of potassium. Magnesium maybe is a little on the low end. They say some people need to get about 3 pounds of meat to meet their magnesium needs. And then of course other factors come into play also. What I'm always low is salt. So when I do my blood work, my sodium is always low, and I salt the taste.
That's odd because, when they do check my mineral counts, my salt is just barely into the normal range, just barely. And I guess it's because being a carnivore, I go to the bathroom so often I'm constantly flushing it out. And I eat a lot of salt, at least I think I do. But, a lot of people, and I preach about this before, they'll take these supplements when quite often they don't need to take them. And I did the same thing. I get it. I was doing it because they said you ought to do it. And in the beginning, it's probably necessary for a lot of people. But quite often, you really don't need it. If you're eating properly, you should be getting just about everything you need from the meat you eat.
Yes, indeed. Jason, does anyone notice how carnivores try to replicate carb foods as much as vegans trying to replicate meat foods?
Yep.
We're almost one and the same when you think about it. 2 crazy cults.
I did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying all these crazy recipes and everything, Chris Cook in Nashville, he's got a ton of them, Maria Emmerich, they all did them, and I followed a bunch of them. But here's what I found after a while is I got tired of it. They were a lot of work, more work than I felt like putting in.
Right. And I'm lazy. So yeah, I just rather eat.
And I love to cook, but it was just getting, for the results I was getting, they were okay, but nothing duplicates the carb foods. It come close, but it just wasn't as good. And the work I was putting into it just wasn't enough to satisfy me. So I said, the heck with it. I'll just stick with just cooking meat. It's the easiest thing to do.
I think there's some
and I don't make chicken salad. My wife does. That's her choice. If it wasn't for her doing it, I wouldn't make it.
There's pros and cons to this, I think, Jason. So so the reason the vegans do it is you have people that are so accustomed to eating meat that they're trying to find something that will help them transition to a vegan diet, So, and there's, in the case of carnivores doing it, we're so used to eating, I'll just take bread. All right. So there's these recipes out there for carnivore bread, and I've never had any, but I've seen it baked, sliced. It looks like real bread.
I've made a bunch of them.
And so there's pros and cons to it. So one of the pros is, if you are trying to, transition to carnivore, these in between foods, these mockery foods might actually help you. But at the same time, depending on your personality type, they might actually impair you. So, because if they're not as good as the food you remember, then you end up wanting to go back to the good old stuff, the bread you were used to. And so that was for me, that was my problem with Atkins. And so this really hasn't changed even since the 90s when I read that book. Like, at first I thought it was really cool. I had a lot of fun buying raw ingredients and making, at low carb pizza crust with cauliflower, egg and cheese, and making oopsie rolls for buns and using these shirataki noodles for my pasta instead of regular noodles, and I making my own I had my own pancake recipe, so I'd use flax and soy and almond flour or coconut flour and make my own pancakes and use the sugar-free syrup on it, because the sugar-free was a sugar alcohol and that didn't count, because that was a net carb, and that was all a lie. That was all a lie. I didn't just mute myself, did I? Okay, good. And every time I bump this mic, it shuts off. And so the problem is none of those things were as good as the real thing, and I wasn't learning anything. And I was never learning that this stuff wasn't food. In fact, what I was learning was I should, and it's okay to pine for the foods of my past. And so eventually, if you pine for the foods of your past for so long, you end up going back to them and you get off the diet. So that was my problem with it. So now for me, it's easier. I might occasionally make a chaffle. I might occasionally, I will look at a Chris Cooking Nashville video someday and probably make something because it does sound fun. It sounds like a lot of work, but it sounds fun.
It is.
But I'd rather just, eat the meat like you would receive it in nature, or single ingredient whole foods. I just don't look at, my brain now doesn't register bread or other processed foods as food. So even if you make a carnivore version of it, my mind is still kind of like, well, I'm trying not to eat processed food. And what did I just do? I just processed my own food. So
yeah, that's why, I make videos on recipes, but I try to make it much as simple ingredients that you can go to the store and buy. And like, I'm one of those that once in a while, I don't mind change up, but I'm more simple. And so it's like, well, maybe I can bring the simple to my videos and just like, ideas, because like I saw a comment that, some of those recipes require like ingredients that you have to buy off of Amazon or order online, and it can get really expensive. And one of them is egg white protein powder. That stuff is expensive. It's like $60 for a pound of it or two.
Yes, Steadfast says they are out there for those who have to cook for families or who enjoy the art of cooking, but most just eat the meat, eggs, butter, and dairy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't consider it a bad thing if somebody wants to go that route. That's fine if that's what they want to do. I think it can be helpful for some, but like I said, I got bored with it, got tired of it, and like I said, I like to cook, but I'll stick with chaffles when it comes to bread, because I could not find a bread recipe that came anywhere near to being anything less than styrofoam for me. If it was heavy egg, then it was too eggy. So I'll just stick with chaffles. They make great burger bun, and they're simple. It's not like you got to do a whole lot of work for those. And I don't. When I say chaffles, a lot of times I don't use so much cheese as I do pork rind panko.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I usually use. Is the more, I use two eggs, a little bit of cheese, pork panko, and it works great for a chaffle. I use that. I don't make the whole bread, but if I want a pizza and want that crust like that crust-like texture, I'll take the Courtney Luna's bread recipe and I'll cut it in half, and I'll make either a flatbread or a pizza crust, and it works great just for pizza. Now I'll do that every now and then, but when it comes to some of these other ingredients, yeah, I'm like Jeff, it just gets old. Okay, it's expensive trying to find it. I just rather just cook something like tonight. I had beef hot dogs for supper because it's like I wanted to get on here and I wanted something quick. So beef hot dogs, what it is, because Dr. Berry says if it's hot dogs and bologna, it's better than a Snickers candy bar or Doritos.
True.
That is
And
true.
I don't even, I right now, because I'm not doing anything but laying around the house, I haven't even gotten hungry this evening. So I did OMAD today and wasn't trying to. I'm not doing any work right now, so I'm not getting hungry.
Latro says he has to break for dinner. Another great session, guys and gals. So if you're still listening in the background, you got to let us know what you're eating. Jeff hasn't had anything. He's doing OMAD today. I'll tell you what I had after work. And I had pulled pork. So we had this pulled pork from Sam's. I heated it up, and because it's pre-cooked, so we warmed it up, 2 pounds worth. Didn't need all 2 pounds though. Warmed up some Egg Life wraps, and I had the pulled pork and the Egg Life wraps, kind of like pork tacos with sour cream and cheese, and then I did sliced pickle and mustard, and it was absolutely delicious. So I did deviate a little and have a vegetable today, but that's because the pulled pork by itself would have been pretty boring, and that spiced it up. So I like pulled pork with things like sauerkraut or pickle, that tartness and the mustard. We got the vinegar flavor and the mustard too. I think it goes together really well. So that was my dinner at about 5 o'clock, and I'm probably not eating any more today. If anything, my eyes are getting heavy. Let's see here. I'm back to the normal chat now, playing catch up here. Charger Mopar is the oddball in the carnivore space. In some ways, that is true. In other ways, you're just another one of us. However, I don't know anyone else who eats iguana on the regular. So, then someday I will get down there to Florida, and I'm going to have some iguana sitting across from you. That's my goal someday. All right. And
I'm going to have to go down there and hunt some.
Rick, you are the OG of making carb wannabe carnivore foods, the original heart attack buns. So Rick's got that's another thing that I'll do is a heart attack burger. So I said that before. I said that the other week. One of these days, I'm gonna take the camera equipment down to the kitchen, which actually looks really good right now. We cleaned house Saturday, and the house is actually looking really good. When I mentioned this before, I said you all got to see my decrepit kitchen, but now it's looking presentable. I'm gonna record making the heart attack burger and trying to eat the thing. So, heart attack burger buns are like fluffy omelets. Kelly says heart attack buns are addicting. Oh, you've done that with them, right? You did a video.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And I know Amy's done a video too, trying to make and eat a heart attack burger. But I think they weren't the full size. They weren't the Rick size heart attack burger though.
No, mine wasn't the Rick size. I had the junior size, and mine I barely ate. I was full, a pound of meat and the buns. The buns is what fills you up, and I barely had just a little bit. I gave it to the dog. He ate the rest of it. But like
right.
Amy made the heart attack burger on her live with Rick demonstrating, telling her how to do it, and she didn't eat it all. But I think it was Jerry. They did a live where they did a heart attack burger challenge, and Aaron Booby Goats actually won. Gary No Slow, he went from from beginning to the end, from cooking it, putting it together, and eating it. He finished it, but Aaron, she ate it.
Very nice. Isabella Goyer says these recipes often require some expensive and hard to find ingredients. Yeah, I've seen some that like got to get like it's like ground chicken flour from the people that make the carnivore crisps, and it's like it is super expensive. So, all right, Jason says I'm joking about the cult comment, though some may say it. You know what? I don't.
You're right.
The word cult does not offend me whatsoever. Cult, you know what cult is short for culture. Okay. Do we have our own culture? Absolutely. Yep. You know, and I just, I don't, people call my diet a cult, people call my religion a cult, whatever. I don't care. I think people that try to use that as some sort of pot shot insult, they're lacking in brain cells themselves. So.
Well, and there are some.
And I'm not saying, Jason, I'm not saying that's you. No. So all I'm saying is no offense. That's all I'm saying. I understood the humor. Are we a crazy cult? Are the vegans a crazy cult? Sure, absolutely. Whatever. It means nothing.
And there are some people that treat it as a cult.
Right.
Take
people on the inside.
Serious.
There's people on the inside. Yeah, there are carnivore purists, and it's like, you want to know why these people over here are calling carnivore a cult? It's because of you, stupid.
Yeah. Those are the carnivore police saying when they'll say, well, no, 70%, because 70%, if you're 70% eating meat, you're carnivore or hyper carnivore, and not, if we eat a little bit of plant here and there, like 70 to 90%, I mean, we're still carnivore.
Oh, Bob had a pickle and mustard on his pulled pork taco tonight. Unsubscribe from his channel.
Roll that carnivore card.
Yeah, okay. I can't eat 2 pounds of meat per day. I can across 2 meals. I can do a pound a meal. So, all right. Carnivore-based imitation duck foods are great when you have duck food eating friends that want to get together. Yeah, like if it passes for them, if you make carnivore imitation duck food for your guests chow down on it, and you can eat with them, and be part of that social eating experience. That's actually a cool thing.
And my daughter, she does most of the cooking now when we have our big get-togethers, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, whatever. And, she eats mostly, her and her husband, her family, they eat mostly meat-based, pretty close to carnivore, if not full-blown carnivore. I know her husband is now. And she does a wonderful job setting a wonderful table, and there will be a mixture of carnivore foods, for us. And then we've got some others in the family that eat sad, and she'll have food for them. But even the food she has for them, they don't realize they're getting more of a keto style food. They're not getting it's not carnivore, but they're getting keto. They're not even aware that they're getting it. They think this is just all normal food for them. But you can make. There's so many different things you can make that's carnivore that are so good. That don't really take much effort. They're not big time recipes or anything like pig shots. Man, pig shots are great. You smoke a bunch of pig shots on the grill, and all that is a slice of kielbasa of some type of sausage. Wrap a strip of bacon around it, stick a toothpick through it, and you leave a gap. The sausage is only about half the size of the width of the bacon. And so you got half of it with sausage, and then the top half, you fill it with some kind of cream cheese mixture, whatever trips your boat, maybe some chorizo or something, and or maybe some crab mixed in, with some cream cheese. And you put that on the top, smoke that on the smoker, until they're good and brown. Man, that's good eating. It's a good snack. It's delicious. And of course, deviled eggs. All carnivore, nothing wrong with deviled eggs. Just all kinds of food you can eat.
Steadfast comment, I think, was incomplete. She says, I cannot eat 2 pounds of meat per day to get that amount of potassium. Really wanting to see if adding it will help with sleep, since low potassium can contribute. Feel like my balance of electrolytes is off. So you might want to get a electrolyte panel. If you're taking electrolytes, then like, when you go get your blood work every 3 or 6 months, get an electrolyte panel just to check them, or a kidney panel will tell you also which ones of those are, how they're doing. You just got to be careful with the potassium. Now, 2 pounds of meat is going to get you about 3,500 milligrams of potassium, and is it milligrams, right? Yeah, milligrams is what they measure that in, and that's close to that 4,700. So that's why my potassium runs high. So I don't excrete it. My kidneys are bad. I'm getting 2 pounds of meat a day, and I eat a lot of pork. Pork muscle meat is particularly high in potassium. It's probably higher than all your other meats, and so I'm getting plenty of potassium with 2 to 3 pounds. Because sometimes I eat 3 meals a day, and I'll have a third pound of food. So I'm doing all right. Let's see here. OMAD really sucks. You eat 1 meal and then you're so full you have to take a 2-hour break afterwards.
And there's some truth to that, no doubt.
Yeah, I could eat if I eat a big meal, I fall asleep.
Yeah, because you knock off nearly 2 pounds of meat in one sitting. And it's hard to go out there and go back to work in the heat. Mm-hmm. It'll make you sick.
All righty. I always have seasonal fruit in my get-togethers. Yeah, so you have some nice Florida growing fruit trees down there. So Angela Mullins says, I made a Rick-size heart attack burger, ate it in 4 days. I have a video. So it took 4 days to eat it. All right, very good. And I'm at the end of my comments there. So if you haven't had a chance to vote in the poll, please do so now. If you eat 1 meal a day, just in the chat, type 1, enter. If you eat 2 meals a day, in the chat, type 2, enter. And if you eat 3 or more meals a day, type 3 3, enter. So just the digit. And we've got more votes now than we do people in the chat. So 10:30. That's what we schedule ourselves till 10:30, and so that's when we start seeing people start to dive off here, which I'm ready to do anytime myself. How about you guys?
Whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Yeah. Anything else to talk about? It can be anything. It does not have to be carnivore. It does not have to be fasting. What's on your mind lately? What are you into? Anything? Are you watching anything good?
I watched a documentary about I Am Chris Farley on Tubi TV. Started kind of this morning. Watched it on my lunch break. It was pretty good. He was born in Madison, Wisconsin. He was a Wisconsin man.
All right. Yeah, I'm in the game shows and certain reality shows. There was a new season of Alone Africa. We binged through that in about a week, 10 episodes or so. And that show will prove to you that we were designed to eat meat, because they drop these people off in the middle of nowhere, and whoever survives the longest in the wild wins, like the jackpot prize at the end. And the people who win are the people who can fish and hunt. Everybody else who just tries to pick roots and scurry for berries and stuff, they end up bailing out because they lose too much weight. Their health gets bad. And so yeah, we watch Alone and you're like, oh, right there, we're meant to be carnivores. Just check that out. I also in the game show, so I watch Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, and there's this one on now that we watch called The Floor, which is actually pretty fun, exciting too. So, and if you have HBO, I highly recommend The Pit. So if you have HBO, watch The Pit. It is an amazing show. So it's one of these hospital shows, but it's pretty unique in that each season is 15 hours, and each episode is 1 hour of their shift. So you basically follow, the day shift. You follow it from when they come into work, and by the end of the season when they're leaving at the end of the night, and it's everything that happens during the course of one day. So it's really good.
I applied for a game show one time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire back when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
I applied for it. I made it past the first round, but I didn't make it past the second round.
Yeah,
The second round was just random selection is all it was. As far as the testing went, I made it through, no problem. But in the second round, it's just a random testing deal. And so it had nothing to do with my skill level of knowledge or anything like that.
You know, you were talking about that one game show where you say this is why we are carnivore. I remember what is it? Morgan Spurlock. He's a producer. He did a Super Size Me back in 2004 where he ate McDonald's for 30 days. He also did a Super Size Me where he raised chickens and he did his own chicken restaurant. But he had between those two, he had a show called 30 Days where he find different people and to do something for 30 days. So this is reminding me of that. There was two people from New York. One's a bartender, and I couldn't remember the other one. They were from New York, from the city, and they were challenged to go 30 days. There's a community called the Rabbits, North Missouri. It's just west of Kirksville, Missouri. They're vegan. Everything they're off grid. There's no sewer. You know, they recycle their own body waste. And I remember one scene where he says, "I gotta have meat." He went out and he killed him a rabbit.
All righty.
And that was a vegan, huh? Or no, that was
a regular guy. Yeah. He said, I needed meat. And he said, I can't be a vegan.
I can't. And it's not just because I don't like vegetables. I got to have meat. I've tried, you know, there were times when we thought we were being healthy by just, you know, loading up on the vegetables. And my wife would have just a vegetable night. I couldn't handle it. You know, I'd just be starving. Meat's the only thing that satisfies.
Yeah, definitely. Like there was a time where I was like, the mental conditioning, it got to me. I was like, I wouldn't mind doing the vegan thing for a while. There's I kind of bought into the ideal of it, and but I was like, I don't know, I just love meat too much. I could never do it.
No.
So never went a day vegan, not even one. Jerry says, heard on Barbara's channel tonight that the Healing Humanity documentary meetup in the Montello Theater in June is already sold out.
Yeah, I got an email from Carrie, I think yesterday or today, saying it was sold out.
Yeah. All right. I want to organize a meetup here in northeastern Ohio for our northern Ohio and western Pennsylvania carnivores. That's something that I want to put together.
That's what when I was last Easter service, at our church, we have a building, but we don't have a sanctuary yet to be built. So we meet at a small theater in Moberly, Missouri. Uh-huh. But on our Easter service, since we have two services, we combined it on Easter to the municipal auditorium. And as I was greeting, my wheels started turning. And I'm like, you know what? There's places here in Moberly that we can do a meetup, get the people, from Missouri. But I'm like, well, if we do that, we don't have enough hotels or anything like that here. But I'm thinking, well, Columbia's not very far. It's only 30 miles. So I was like, my wheels were turning. So I'm thinking about trying to get a meetup in Missouri next year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can have your own small private meetups just in your area. Mm-hmm. If you have the Nextdoor app, like what I did is I started a carnivore tribe on the Nextdoor app. And so I've got, I don't know how many members I've got right now, but I've got quite a few members on that app. And what I've done in the past is just said, hey guys, what do you say to a carnivore meetup? Let's meet over at Woody Creek Barbecue, on such and such a date. And we've had some. I got 37 members in my carnivore tribe, and that's all it's called on next door is the Carnivore Tribe. And yeah, so I'll get people show up to them things. Just a little private group. It works out pretty good. We don't get too many of the big meetups here in Texas. When we do, they're usually farther away than I care to go. Last one we had here was down in Austin. I lived up in Weatherford, which is 30 miles west of Fort Worth. And it was just farther than I wanted to go for like just a day. Now that I'm down in Hyco, I'm a little closer to Waco, or to Austin. If they were going to have another one down there, I might be tempted to go to it.
Yeah, I was at one in Columbus, Ohio. It was Carrie's for Healing Humanity. Then that was my first meetup experience, so it was enjoyable. But yeah, and I wanted to go there for the experience because I didn't know what to expect, and I probably didn't really get an idea of what to expect from his anyway, because his was a promotional event, and plugging his documentary, trying to raise funds. That's what his was. So something that mine would be nothing of the sort. Mine would really just be, hey, let's eat some food and chit chat, just like we do here on Mondays, except we'd be really face to face in person. Yeah, I think it would be enjoyable. All right. Well, we're at 10:30. That's our closing time. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you, Kelly and Jeff, for joining us today on the stage. Where's everybody's name?
Pleasure as usual.
Where's everybody's name tags at? Look at that. Where's everybody's name tags at? That's interesting. Huh.
Maybe your poll kicks it out.
Maybe. Let's see here. And I thought it would be over here. People. Poll. Let me let's try that. Hide it. Aha.
There.
Ah, look at that. Okay. There we are. Okay. Well, nobody could read who we were tonight. Nobody knew that Jeff was the joyfully defiant positive deviant, or that Kelly was the Missouri carnivore. So, all right. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of the poll, what did we end up with here? Widgets, show poll. Okay. 18% with 6 votes, 1 OMAD, 76% with 25 votes, 2 MAD, and 6% with only 2 votes, 3 meals a day. So, and that's a total of 33 votes. So we got 33 votes in our poll. So that was fun. So I don't think we can always have a poll, but it was very fitting to try that out tonight. All right.
Well, that's something you could do in the future. You could do it every week. Just come up with a different subject.
Yeah, that's true.
Doesn't even have to be on what we're talking about.
Isabella says, thank you. Have a good night, everyone. And we're going to say the same. So good night, Jeff. Good night, Kelly. Good night to all of you who are hanging out in the chat. And man, if you've been here since 8 o'clock, we love you dearly. Thanks for hanging with us and for over the long term. We really appreciate it. You can talk to us through the week over on carnivoretalk.com. And if not, we'll see you next Monday when we live stream again. So thank you again. We love you all. Have a blessed night. Take care.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.